Hi, I'm Rob, and welcome to the Word on OCD. In our last video, we talked about Matthew 6:33, which goes, "Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." And by all these things, I meant all the stuff we worry about. And it's kind of the way we said it before, horse, cart, kingdom, all these things. One comes first, one comes second. Well, whichever one you go with, horse or cart, becomes your pathway, right? One is flesh, obeying the part of us that's full of worry, fear, self-reliance, and familiarity, which somehow outweighs all those other things. The other is spirit, which turns out to be the less taken path of trust, surrender, and seeking God first. Today, I want to pick up where we left off with that, only this time with a little more emphasis on science. It turns out that that same pathway choice shows up not just in scripture, but in the way the brain physically functions, the way it's wired, the way it works. In the book, I describe OCD encounters like an actual fork in the road. You're standing there at the intersection, and even though we know that one way that we always go leads to nothing but misery and it never solves anything, 9 times out of 10, we still take it because that's the one that's familiar. Well, that turns out not to be just a metaphor. It is actually a picture of what's happening inside our heads. There is a well-known phrase for this in neuroscience, and it goes, neurons that fire together, wire together. A nice little rhyme. It means that every time your thoughts go along a certain pathway, that pathway gets reinforced. It's automatic. It's like your mom warned you when you're a little kid. If you keep crossing your eyes, they're going to stick that way. So this neural pathway is why OCD feels like you're being drawn down that road over and over again. Good or bad, that is the road you know. It's like when you take your dog on a walk the same way every time. The dog eventually learns the route and pulls you in that same direction without you having to even guide it. The brain does the same thing. That familiar path is ingrained so deeply that going some other way becomes almost unthinkable. So it's not just a habit, it is a reinforced circuit in your brain. And the more it fires, the more it wires, and the harder it is to strike off in a new direction. That's why choosing a different trail, resisting a compulsion, trusting God, instead of chasing our own definition of certainty, that's why it feels so impossible at first. It's like we're trying to break some sacred, hardwired, inevitable ritual. And that's because we are. It is hard to change a neural pathway. And doing it the first couple of times almost never feels right. But there's good news here in the science. This is something we can change. On the spiritual side, we already know that in Matthew 6:33, it's what Jesus is asking us to do. Choose this way, not that. In science, this ability to choose is called neuroplasticity. I love that word. It means we can actually take the pathways that our brain fires and mold them. We can shape something new out of them, like plastic can be shaped. And I'm sure that you see right away the parallel to Matthew 6:33. The Bible's path imagery and the brain's wiring principles actually point to the same hope. Matthew 6:33 is Jesus saying, keep choosing the new road over and over, and then you'll witness firsthand how all the other stuff falls into line. Neuroscience says you have the power to make a new path feel just as familiar as an old one. Start doing it, and repetition wears in the new trail. So science gives us the mechanics, and scripture gives us the reason for the new direction. And that makes sense, right? I mean, God has the blueprints for our brains, so you would expect him to take advantage of how it works. And he does. When you take Jesus at his word and seek first his kingdom, you are forging a different pathway. The road you choose repeatedly becomes the road your brain prefers. And then the benefits Jesus describes come along with that choice and make it all the more likely that you'll choose that road again. So here's the encouragement. You are not stuck with the road your brain has taken 1,000 times. Your brain is moldable like plastic. God made it that way. OCD may have built the old pathway, but neuroplasticity tells us that we have the ability to build a new path. No, it will not feel natural at first. It won't feel comfortable, but that's exactly how new roads begin. You go a different way, and your whole brain is like, oh, where am I going? But eventually, if you keep doing it, the new road becomes the familiar one. The new pathway gets worn in. And that's where freedom begins. Faith, OCD, and the brain's scientifically established ability to change. These things intersect. They mesh. They're not at odds with each other. And that's pretty much the point of this entire book, which I do hope you'll take a look at. So make sure you subscribe, follow along. I know we're heading down an unfamiliar path, but repetitions will wear it in. Let's keep walking this thing together. See you next time.